I'm so glad you found your way here. Your brain is processing emotions right now, even as you listen, sorting through worries, reshaping fears, quietly working toward resolution. Tonight, you'll discover how anxiety transforms your inner dream world and understand why even your most frightening dreams might be trying to help you heal. Welcome to Psychology for Sleep. Now, settle in. You're in your safe space while your mind quietly prepares for the journey into sleep. Perhaps feeling that familiar weight of worry, or simply wondering why your dreams have felt different lately. We'll journey through 100 psychology facts about how stress transforms the sleeping mind, from the chemistry that colors your night visions, to the ancient brain regions that guard your rest, to the moment dreams become healers instead of haunters. This thoughtful journey through consciousness builds bridges between searching minds. A gentle subscribe, like, or sharing your thoughts creates a pathway for more dreamers to discover and brings us closer to protect this sanctuary. One sleepy soul at a time. Your journey through understanding inspires ours. Let yourself settle completely here. Feel your jaw unclench, your breath deepen naturally. You can let these thoughts drift past without holding them. Sense that soothing heaviness enveloping you, like your consciousness slowly dimming its brightness. Thoughts dissolving into the peaceful fog of approaching sleep. Safe and undisturbed. Close your eyes and breathe deeply. You're floating where memories rest safely in gentle darkness. Let your mind merge with infinite peace. And now we begin. Anxiety doesn't just affect your waking hours. It fundamentally restructures the architecture of your sleep. When you experience chronic stress or anxiety, your brain's sleep patterns shift in measurable ways. According to research published through 2024 from sleep laboratories at Harvard Medical School and the National Institute of Mental Health, individuals with anxiety disorders show altered sleep cycles. They spend less time in deep, slow wave sleep, which is the most physically restorative stage. They also experience more frequent awakenings during the night, sometimes dozens of times, though they may not remember them all. Most notably, their REM sleep, the stage when vivid dreaming occurs, becomes more intense and emotionally charged. The proportion of REM sleep may increase, but its quality changes. Your sleeping brain under anxiety is like a radio that can't quite tune to the right frequency, catching fragments of too many stations at once, never fully settling into the peaceful static of deep rest. The relationship between anxiety and dreams is bidirectional, meaning it flows both ways, like a river that somehow runs upstream and downstream simultaneously. Anxiety changes your dreams. Yes, but your dreams also change your anxiety. This feedback loop was documented in a 2023 study from the University of California, Berkeley, where researchers tracked participants' stress levels and dream content over 6 weeks. They found that on nights following particularly anxious days, people reported more negative dream emotions. But here's where it gets interesting. Those negative dreams then predicted higher anxiety the following morning, even when controlling for how anxious the person was before sleep. It's as if your dreams can amplify or dampen your emotional state, creating either a downward spiral into more distress or, when dreams process emotions effectively, an upward spiral toward resolution and peace. Your sleeping mind is not just a passive screen showing you images. It's an active participant in your emotional life. REM sleep, the stage where most vivid dreaming occurs. undergoes specific changes when you're anxious. Normally, you cycle through REM periods roughly every 90 minutes during the night, with each period lasting longer than the last. The first REM period might be just 5 to 10 minutes, while the final one near morning could last 30 minutes or more. But anxiety disrupts this natural rhythm. Research from Stanford University's Sleep Sciences Laboratory shows that anxious individuals enter their first REM period earlier than usual, sometimes within 45 minutes of falling asleep rather than the typical 90. Their REM periods are also longer and contain more rapid eye movements, literally more eye activity beneath closed lids. This increased REM pressure is your brain's attempt to process emotional content, but it can make sleep feel less restful. You're doing more emotional work while you should be resting, like trying to organize a chaotic desk while simultaneously needing to relax. The amygdala, your brain's ancient alarm system, becomes hyperactive during anxious dreams. This almond-shaped structure buried deep in your temporal lobes normally helps you detect threats and generate fear responses. During typical REM sleep, the amygdala is quite active, which is why dreams can feel emotionally intense even when they're not frightening. But in anxiety disorders, recent fMRI studies from the Max Planck Institute show the amygdala remains in overdrive even during sleep. It fires more frequently and more intensely, tagging neutral dream elements as potential threats. A door in a dream becomes a barrier. A stranger becomes a pursuer. A simple task becomes an impossible test. Your amygdala is like a smoke detector that's become too sensitive, turning the gentle steam from a morning shower into a 5-alarm emergency. This hypervigilance bleeds into your dream world, coloring everything with undertones of danger or worry, transforming what should be neutral mental imagery into narratives of threat and unease. Cortisol, often called the stress hormone, follows a natural daily rhythm that anxiety disrupts in ways that affect your dreams. Normally, cortisol levels are lowest around midnight and gradually rise toward morning, helping you wake naturally. But in people with chronic anxiety, cortisol patterns become dysregulated. Research from the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism shows that anxious individuals often have elevated cortisol levels during the night, particularly during the second half of sleep when dreams are most vivid and memorable. This excess cortisol can fragment your sleep and intensify emotional dream content. It's as if your body thinks morning has arrived hours too early, preparing you for threats that don't exist. Your dreams, occurring in this artificially heightened state of physiological arousal, take on the emotional coloring of that arousal, becoming more urgent, more distressing, more difficult to shake off even after waking. Chemistry writes the emotional script of your night. Dream recall. How well you remember your dreams upon waking actually increases with anxiety, but not in a pleasant way. You might think forgetting bad dreams would be a mercy, and sometimes it is. But anxiety has a way of etching its dream narratives into memory. According to 2023 research from the Lyon Neuroscience Research Center, individuals with higher trait anxiety not only have more emotionally negative dreams, but also remember more of them compared to non-anxious controls. This happens because the same arousal that makes dreams more intense also makes them more memorable. Emotional intensity acts like a highlighter in your brain, marking certain experiences for long-term storage. Unfortunately, this means the very dreams you'd most like to forget. the ones filled with helplessness, fear, or failure, are often the ones that stay with you most vividly. Your mind, trying to protect you by remembering threats, actually prolongs your suffering by ensuring those threatening dreams aren't easily forgotten. Anxiety dreams share certain universal themes across cultures and individuals, suggesting deep patterns in how our brains process worry during sleep. Research compiled by dream researchers through 2024 identified the most common anxiety dream motifs: being chased or pursued, falling from heights, being unprepared for an exam or presentation, teeth falling out, being naked or inappropriately dressed in public, being trapped or paralyzed, arriving too late, and losing control of a vehicle. These aren't random. Each theme represents a core anxiety: loss of control, fear of judgment, inability to escape, social vulnerability, inadequacy. Your dreaming mind takes abstract worries. I'm not good enough. I can't handle this situation. People will reject me, and translates them into concrete narratives with plots, settings, and characters. The anxiety that has no face during your waking hours puts on costumes at night, acting out your fears in symbolic theater, performed on the stage of your sleeping consciousness. The prefrontal cortex, the rational, executive control center of your brain, becomes less active during REM sleep, which is partly why dreams can feel so bizarre and emotionally unfiltered. But in anxiety, this normal reduction in prefrontal activity becomes more pronounced. Recent studies using advanced neuroimaging at MIT found that anxious individuals show even greater prefrontal deactivation during REM sleep than healthy controls. This means the part of your brain that usually helps you think logically, maintain perspective, and regulate emotions is essentially offline when you need it most. Without that moderating influence, your amygdala and emotional limbic system run wild, generating dream scenarios without the usual reality checks or rational constraints. It's like removing a wise, calm advisor from a meeting and leaving only the most fearful, reactive voices to make decisions. Your dreams lose their internal fact-checker, and nightmares feel absolutely real in the moment, indistinguishable from waking threats. Sleep deprivation and anxiety create a vicious cycle that particularly affects dream quality and emotional regulation. When you don't get enough sleep, which anxiety often causes, your brain's ability to process emotions deteriorates. Research from the University of Pennsylvania shows that just one night of poor sleep increases amygdala reactivity by up to 60%, while simultaneously weakening its connection to the prefrontal cortex that normally keeps emotional responses in check. This sets you up for more anxiety the next day, which then leads to more disrupted sleep the following night, which leads to even more dysregulated dreams. It's like a boat taking on water. The more water that comes in, the lower the boat sits, which makes it easier for waves to splash over the side, bringing in even more water. Breaking this cycle often requires addressing both the sleep and the anxiety simultaneously, recognizing they're not separate problems but different faces of the same underlying dysregulation. Nightmares. Extremely frightening dreams that wake you up occur more frequently in people with anxiety disorders. While occasional nightmares are normal and happen to most people a few times per year, anxiety can increase their frequency dramatically, sometimes several times per week or even nightly. According to data from sleep research compiled through 2024, people with generalized anxiety disorder experience frequent nightmares at rates many times higher than the general population. What makes anxiety-related nightmares particularly distressing is their consistency and their tendency to echo waking worries. The dream about failing isn't random when you're worried about a real-life performance. The dream about rejection isn't coincidence when you're anxious about relationships. Your nightmares become personalized torments, taking the very things you fear most and playing them out in scenarios where you're helpless to change the outcome, trapped in your own mind's worst predictions. So yes, anxiety is already changing your dreams in specific, measurable ways. Your sleep architecture shifts. Your REM periods intensify. Your amygdala becomes more active. Your stress hormones rise at unexpected times. And your prefrontal cortex dims when you need it most. These aren't random effects. They're patterns we can understand, connections we can trace. Understanding how these changes happen is the first step toward understanding why your dreams have felt different lately, and eventually, how they might heal. The neurotransmitter balance in your brain shifts during anxious sleep in ways that directly affect dream content and emotional tone. Serotonin, which helps regulate mood and anxiety, often decreases in people with chronic stress. Norepinephrine, associated with arousal and the fight or flight response, increases. This chemical imbalance doesn't stop when you fall asleep. During REM sleep, your brain normally suppresses norepinephrine almost completely, allowing for emotional processing without the interference of stress arousal. But research from Johns Hopkins University found that anxious individuals maintain higher norepinephrine levels even during REM. Meanwhile, their serotonin remains depleted. This means your dreaming brain is operating in a state chemically similar to panic or high alert. Even though there's no external threat, your dreams aren't just reflecting your anxiety. They're being biochemically constructed from the same neurotransmitter imbalance that creates anxiety in waking life. Chemistry becomes narrative, becomes emotion, becomes memory. Dream emotions don't always match dream content in anxiety disorders, creating a strange disconnection between what you see and what you feel. You might dream of something neutral, walking through a grocery store, attending a meeting, talking with a friend, but feel overwhelming dread or panic during the dream. This emotional mismatch was documented in a 2023 study from the University of Arizona, where participants with anxiety reported that nearly 40% of their dreams contained negative emotions that seemed disproportionate to the dream events. This happens because the emotional tone of your dreams is partly determined by your brain's underlying physiological state, not just the dream narrative itself. Your amygdala is flooding your consciousness with fear signals regardless of what your visual cortex is generating as imagery. It's like watching a peaceful nature documentary while someone plays ominous horror movie music. The images don't match the feeling, creating a disorienting sense of unease that persists even in seemingly mundane dreams. Anxiety can cause you to wake up repeatedly during REM sleep, fragmenting the very sleep stage that's supposed to help you process emotions. Each time you wake from a dream, your emotional processing is interrupted. It's like trying to work through a complex problem, but being interrupted every few minutes. You never reach resolution. Data from sleep clinics shows that people with anxiety disorders have more micro-awakenings during REM periods, sometimes dozens per night, even if they don't consciously remember them. These interruptions prevent the natural completion of emotional dream cycles. Your brain starts to process a worry, creates a dream narrative around it, begins to work toward resolution, and then, interruption. You wake slightly, fall back asleep, start a new dream. The emotional content never fully resolves, leaving you with residual unease that carries into the next day, compounding your waking anxiety. The default mode network, a collection of brain regions active during rest and self-reflection, behaves differently during sleep in anxious individuals. This network normally helps you think about yourself, remember the past, and imagine the future. During REM sleep, it remains active and contributes to dream construction. But recent research from Columbia University shows that in anxiety, this network becomes hyperactive during sleep, generating excessive self-focused thoughts and rumination, even in dreams. Your dreams become populated with worries about your identity, your future, your past mistakes. The self-referential thinking that makes you lie awake worrying doesn't stop when you fall asleep. It just changes form, becoming the narrative structure of your dreams. Your brain's habit of rumination continues unabated through the night, giving you no true respite from the endless internal dialogue of anxiety. Dream content in anxiety often involves helplessness and lack of agency, feeling unable to act, speak, or change outcomes. This isn't coincidental. It mirrors the psychological experience of anxiety itself, where you feel overwhelmed by circumstances beyond your control. A comprehensive analysis of dream reports from anxiety patients found that nearly 70% of their recalled dreams involved scenarios where the dreamer tried but failed to accomplish something, couldn't escape danger, couldn't speak when needing to, or watched helplessly as bad things happened. These dreams dramatize the core psychological experience of anxiety. The feeling that you're not equipped to handle what's coming, that your efforts won't be enough, that forces beyond your understanding are determining your fate. Your sleeping mind rehearses helplessness, which then reinforces it during waking hours. Anxiety dreams can feature heightened sensory experiences. Sounds seem louder, colors more intense, physical sensations more vivid. This sensory amplification comes from the same arousal systems that make you hyper-aware of potential threats during waking hours. Your nervous system's sensitivity dial is turned up too high, and that heightened sensitivity carries into your dreams. Research from 2023 at the Karolinska Institute found that people with anxiety reported more intense sensory experiences in dreams, including pain, temperature sensations, and sounds. Some reported hearing conversations with crystal clarity in dreams, or feeling textures with unsettling vividness. This isn't imagination making dreams more real. It's your nervous system's heightened state bleeding into your dream generation, making the unreal feel hyperreal. The imagined feel more concrete than memory. The brain regions involved in memory consolidation work overtime during anxious sleep, but not efficiently. Your hippocampus and cortex are supposed to work together during sleep to transfer important memories from temporary to long-term storage, while letting unimportant information fade. But in anxiety, this process becomes indiscriminate. Research from McGill University found that anxious individuals consolidate both important and trivial emotional memories during sleep, failing to filter appropriately. This means you're more likely to remember embarrassing moments, worrying interactions, and threatening information while failing to consolidate positive experiences. Your brain's memory curator has lost its discernment, preserving the very memories that feed your anxiety while letting the reassuring, positive moments slip away, unrecorded. You wake with a biased memory system that confirms your fears and erases your strengths. Sleep paralysis, the temporary inability to move when falling asleep or waking up, occurs more frequently in people with anxiety. During REM sleep, your body is naturally paralyzed to prevent you from acting out dreams. Usually, this paralysis ends before you wake up, so you never notice it. But sometimes, consciousness returns while the paralysis persists, creating a terrifying experience where you're awake and aware but can't move or speak. Research indicates that individuals with anxiety disorders experience sleep paralysis at rates 3 to 4 times higher than the general population. The experience often includes feelings of presence, pressure on the chest, and hallucinations. You're aroused. Anxious brain, interpreting the paralysis as external threat rather than normal physiology. What should be an unnoticed biological process becomes a waking nightmare. Anxiety can cause recurrent dreams, not exactly the same dream repeated, but variations on the same themes, scenarios, or emotional textures. You might repeatedly dream about being lost, about being unprepared for tests, about relationships ending, about things falling apart. These recurrent themes reflect your brain's persistent attempt to process unresolved emotional material. A 2023 study tracking dream journals from anxiety patients found that nearly 60% reported recurring dream themes over months or years. Your sleeping mind is like a musician practicing the same difficult passage over and over, trying to master it. But in anxiety, the practice never leads to mastery. Just repetition without resolution. The same psychological knots remain tied, and your dreams keep returning to them, night after night. The boundary between sleep and wakefulness becomes blurred in anxiety, creating a state researchers call hyperarousal, where you're never fully asleep or fully awake. Your brain maintains vigilance even during sleep, ready to respond to threats. This shows up in EEG recordings as higher frequency brainwaves during sleep stages that should show slower, more synchronized patterns. Research indicates this hyperarousal means your sleep is lighter and less restorative. You may be in bed with eyes closed for 8 hours, but getting the restorative equivalent of 4 or 5. Your brain refuses to fully disengage, maintaining a watch that exhausts you, even as it tries to protect you. Temperature regulation during sleep is disrupted by anxiety in ways that affect dream quality. Your body temperature naturally drops during sleep to facilitate rest and restoration. But anxiety activates your sympathetic nervous system, the fight or flight system, which increases body temperature and heart rate. Studies show anxious individuals often have higher core body temperatures during sleep, with more frequent nighttime sweating and temperature fluctuations. These physiological disruptions fragment sleep and can intensify dream discomfort. You might dream of being trapped in hot spaces, of running or exertion, or wake repeatedly feeling overheated. Your body's thermostat, regulated by anxiety, becomes another pathway through which worry invades the refuge of sleep. Breathing patterns during sleep change with anxiety, and these changes influence dream content in subtle ways. Anxious individuals often breathe more shallowly and rapidly during sleep, with occasional breath-holding or irregular patterns. This altered breathing can reduce oxygen slightly and increase carbon dioxide, which research shows correlates with more anxious dream content and more frequent dream recall. Your brain, sensing physiological stress signals from breathing irregularities, incorporates them into dream narratives. You dream of suffocation, of being underwater, of rooms with stale air. The body's anxiety becomes the dream's plot. Physiology generating psychology, generating imagery, generating fear. The circadian system, your internal biological clock, can be disrupted by anxiety, shifting when you naturally feel sleepy or alert. This creates a mismatch between your body's readiness for sleep and the actual time you're trying to sleep. Research found that people with anxiety often show delayed or irregular circadian rhythms, wanting to sleep at 2 or 3 in the morning rather than 10 or 11 at night. This isn't laziness or poor habits. It's a biological shift. When you force sleep before your circadian system is ready, the sleep is lighter, more fragmented, and dreams become more disturbing as your body fights the imposed schedule. Dream imagery in anxiety tends towards specific visual characteristics: darker colors, more enclosed spaces, more crowds or groups of people, more urban settings rather than natural landscapes. Researchers analyzing thousands of dream reports found these visual patterns consistently appear in anxiety dreams across different cultures. The symbolic language of anxiety seems to favor confinement, complexity, and shadow. Your dreaming brain, processing worry and threat, generates visual metaphors that match. Tight spaces reflecting feeling trapped, darkness reflecting uncertainty, crowds reflecting social anxiety. The palette of anxious dreams is drawn from your mind's attempt to give visual form to psychological constraint. So anxiety changes your dreams through multiple interconnected pathways, altering sleep architecture, shifting brain chemistry, modifying neurotransmitter balance, hyperactivating threat detection systems, disrupting temperature and breathing, and fragmenting the very processes meant to heal you. These aren't separate problems, but facets of a single underlying state, a nervous system that can't distinguish between true threat and imagined danger, that maintains vigilance when rest is needed, that transforms the sanctuary of sleep into another arena where worry must be confronted. But these changes, as distressing as they are, reveal something important. Your dreams aren't random. They're responsive, adaptive, meaningful. They're your brain's attempt to help you, even when the help feels overwhelming. Let's pause here and notice your body. As you breathe out slowly, appreciate each tiny cell inside. Trillions of organisms working in silence. Heart beating, lungs breathing, brain thinking, all without your command. Notice the gentle sensations on your skin, in your muscles, along your spine. You are a complete ecosystem, diverse, self-balancing, constantly working toward equilibrium, even when anxiety disrupts it. Your body is trying to heal itself right now. This moment. Feel that quiet intelligence at work. Now we continue. The chemical signature of anxiety dreams can be measured through saliva and blood samples taken immediately upon waking. When people wake from anxiety dreams, they show elevated cortisol, higher levels of norepinephrine, and lower levels of calming neurotransmitters like GABA. This isn't just correlation. It's causation flowing both ways. The chemical state shapes the emotional dream, and the emotional dream maintains the chemical state. Research from the Max Planck Institute found that stress hormones from a nightmare can remain elevated for 1 to 3 hours after waking, influencing mood and reactivity into the morning. Your dreams aren't contained within sleep. They leak into waking life through chemistry, carrying their emotional weight across the boundary between conscious and unconscious. A bad dream isn't just a mental event. It's a physical one, measurable in molecules. Anxiety dreams often involve time distortion, feeling that events take forever or happen too quickly, that you can't reach a destination despite running, that you're late no matter how early you start. This temporal distortion reflects how anxiety warps your perception of time while awake. When you're anxious, threatening events feel imminent, and time seems to slow down during stress while simultaneously feeling like it's running out. Your sleeping mind incorporates this time warping into dream narratives. A 2023 study found that anxiety patients reported more dream events involving being late, running out of time, or being unable to complete tasks before deadlines. Your relationship with time itself becomes part of the dream landscape, with clocks that spin wildly or freeze, destinations that recede as you approach them, and that maddening sense that despite your efforts, you'll never arrive in time. The emotional residue from anxiety dreams can persist throughout the following day, affecting your mood, decision-making, and stress reactivity. This phenomenon, called dream lag effect, was documented in research, showing that negative dream emotions predict negative waking emotions even after controlling for prior anxiety levels. In other words, a bad dream can make tomorrow worse, independent of how you felt yesterday. The dream creates its own emotional momentum. You wake with a vague sense of unease that colors your interpretation of neutral events. A colleague's neutral comment feels critical. A routine task feels overwhelming. The dream's emotional weather system has moved into your waking world, and you're living inside it without necessarily remembering why, carrying emotional baggage from a nighttime experience you might not even fully recall. Social anxiety, fear of judgment, rejection, or embarrassment manifests in dreams with particular characteristics. Dream reports from people with social anxiety show they're much more likely to dream about being watched, evaluated, or publicly humiliated. They dream of giving presentations where they forget their words, of arriving at parties inappropriately dressed, of being laughed at or excluded. But interestingly, the dream audience is often faceless or generic, rather than specific people they know. This reveals something important. Social anxiety isn't really about other people at all. It's about the internalized critic, the watching eyes that exist inside your own mind, that you've projected onto the external world. Your dreams make this projection literal, populating your nighttime world with crowds of judging strangers who represent the harsh judgment you direct at yourself. The narrative structure of anxiety dreams tends to be incomplete. Unlike dreams that have clear beginnings, middles, and ends, even if bizarre, anxiety dreams often start in the middle of stress, escalate, and then wake you before resolution. An analysis of dream journals found that over 70% of anxiety dreams end in sudden waking rather than narrative completion. You're being chased and wake before discovering what happens. You're taking a test and wake before finishing. You're about to fall and wake mid-plummet. This lack of closure is itself anxiety-producing. your mind never experiences the relief of resolution, never learns through the dream that you could handle the situation. Each dream becomes an open loop, an unfinished crisis that your waking mind continues to process, contributing to baseline anxiety levels. Dreams can amplify anxiety through a process called negative reinforcement learning. When you dream about feared situations and experience intense negative emotions without resolution, your brain's fear circuits strengthen rather than weaken. It's the opposite of exposure therapy, where facing fears in safe contexts can help them gradually lose power. But anxiety dreams aren't safe contexts. They feel completely real and dangerous in the moment. Research at Duke University showed that repeated anxiety dreams about specific scenarios, like public speaking or social rejection, actually increased waking anxiety about those situations rather than decreasing it. Your dreams, meant to help process and resolve emotional challenges, can inadvertently become fear conditioning sessions that make you more anxious about the very things you're dreaming about. The concept of dream rebound describes how suppressing anxious thoughts during the day causes them to emerge even more intensely in dreams at night. When you try hard not to think about something worrying, a technique called thought suppression, your brain actually becomes more likely to generate dreams about that content. A 2023 experiment had participants try to suppress thoughts about a specific worry before sleep. Their dream reports showed more content related to the suppressed worry compared to control groups who didn't practice suppression. It's like trying not to think about a white elephant. The effort to avoid the thought actually strengthens it. Your daytime suppression strategies don't work on your sleeping brain, which brings out everything you've been trying to hide, presenting it vividly in dream form. Health anxiety, excessive worry about illness, creates particularly vivid body-focused dreams. People with health anxiety frequently dream about symptoms, medical procedures, hospitals, or bodily changes. These dreams feel intensely real because your brain is already hyper-focused on bodily sensations while awake, and that hypervigilance continues during sleep. Research found that individuals with health anxiety could often describe in disturbing detail the physical sensations in their dreams, pain locations, symptom progression, even specific medical scenarios playing out. This creates a feedback loop. Waking health concerns generate frightening health dreams, which increase waking health anxiety upon awakening, which generates more intense health dreams the following night. Your body becomes both the setting and the plot of your nighttime narrative, a source of endless worry. Anxiety can cause dream incorporation, where real external stimuli are woven into anxious dream narratives in threatening ways. A gentle sound becomes a threat in the dream. A slight temperature change becomes danger. Your phone buzzing becomes an emergency. Research tracking external stimuli and dream content found that anxious individuals are much more likely to incorporate sensory information into dreams in negative rather than neutral or positive ways. Your dreaming brain, primed for threat, interprets ambiguous input as dangerous. The same ambiguous stimulus that a non-anxious person might dream as neutral, a door closing, a voice in the distance, becomes ominous in your anxiety-primed consciousness. Relationship anxiety manifests in dreams through scenarios of abandonment, betrayal, or rejection by loved ones. You dream that your partner leaves, that friends exclude you, that family members turn away. These dreams can feel prophetic, like premonitions, but they're actually reflections of your fear rather than predictions of reality. Research found that people with anxious attachment styles, those who worry about abandonment in relationships, report these dream themes at rates 4 times higher than securely attached individuals. Your dreaming mind takes the what-if scenarios you ruminate on while awake and plays them out in full narrative detail, creating emotional experiences of loss and rejection that feel entirely real. Generalized anxiety disorder changes dream diversity. Instead of the rich variety of dream themes most people experience, some anxious, some neutral, some positive, GAD tends to create thematic uniformity, where most dreams carry a baseline anxiety, even when content varies. A 2023 analysis found that people with GAD reported fewer truly neutral or positive dreams over a month-long period compared to controls. It's as if anxiety acts as a filter, tinting all dream content with the same emotional shade. Even dreams about pleasant activities, walking in nature, spending time with friends, carried undertones of unease, worry, or impending difficulty. Perfectionism and anxiety combine to create dreams about failure and inadequacy. If you struggle with perfectionist tendencies, your dreams might repeatedly feature scenarios where you're not good enough, where your work is criticized, where you've made terrible mistakes that can't be fixed. These dreams reflect the impossible standards you set for yourself while awake. Research found strong correlations between perfectionist traits and dream content involving failure, harsh judgment from others, and discovering you've done something wrong or forgotten something important. Your internal critic that never sleeps continues its commentary in your dreams, finding new scenarios to demonstrate your supposed inadequacy. The physical sensation of anxiety, chest tightness, shortness of breath, muscle tension, can persist into dreams or be recreated during dreams, even when the dream content isn't obviously threatening. You might dream something neutral but wake with your heart racing and breathing rapid. This demonstrates that anxiety dreams aren't just about scary content. They're about physiological states that generate emotional experiences independent of narrative. Research using wearable sensors found that anxious individuals show elevated heart rate and shallow breathing during REM sleep, even when dream reports described mundane scenarios. Your body maintains the anxiety state regardless of what your mind is imagining. Dreams about past traumas resurface more frequently when you're anxious in the present, even if the trauma is old and previously processed. Current stress can reactivate old wounds, bringing them back into dreams years or decades later. This phenomenon, documented in 2023 research, suggests that anxiety weakens the mental containment of difficult memories. Your mind's filing system, under pressure from current stress, starts leaking contents from drawers you thought were closed. A childhood fear returns in new forms. An old loss feels fresh again. Past and present anxieties merge in your dreams, creating layered narratives where multiple time frames exist simultaneously. So anxiety doesn't just change individual dreams. It changes your entire dream landscape, the emotional atmosphere, the narrative possibilities, even the physical sensations you experience while asleep. It takes your waking worries and amplifies them, removing the rational constraints that normally moderate fear, allowing worst-case scenarios to play out with full emotional intensity. Your dreams under anxiety become rehearsals of everything you fear. simulations of loss and failure and threat. But there's something important we haven't yet explored: what these dreams are actually trying to do, and why your brain might be creating them despite the distress they cause. Understanding this changes everything. You're still here with me, thoughts still flickering like candlelight. Just notice. Don't judge. Just notice where your mind is. We're exploring consciousness itself, the very thing doing the exploring right now. Strange, beautiful, and perfectly calm. If this journey is helping you understand your dreams differently, a gentle like or subscribe helps other curious minds find their way here too. Let's drift onward together. Here's something remarkable. Anxiety dreams aren't just random misfirings of a stressed brain. They serve a purpose. Even when they're distressing, your dreaming mind is attempting to process threatening information, to rehearse responses, to integrate difficult emotions. The problem isn't that your brain is creating these dreams. It's that anxiety overwhelms the processing system, turning what could be adaptive emotional work into repetitive distress. Think of it like a computer trying to run too many programs at once. The computer isn't broken. It's just overloaded. Recent research suggests that when anxiety decreases, people's dreams don't just become less anxious. They become more varied, more creative, and more effective at actually processing emotions rather than just replaying them. The dreams aren't the problem. The anxiety overload is. REM sleep serves a crucial function in fear extinction, the process by which fears gradually lose their power. During normal REM sleep, your brain reactivates fearful memories in a safe context. Sleep, where the threat isn't actually present. In normal sleep, this allows fear associations to naturally weaken over time. But in anxiety disorders, this natural fear extinction process is impaired. Research found that anxious individuals show reduced fear extinction during sleep, meaning their fears don't naturally fade the way they could. The dreams keep the fear alive rather than helping it dissipate. It's not that your brain isn't trying to heal you through dreams. It's that the anxiety is interfering with the healing mechanism itself, like trying to let a wound heal while continuously picking at it. The bidirectional relationship between dreams and anxiety means that improving dream quality can actually reduce daytime anxiety, not just the other way around. Several therapeutic approaches now target dreams directly. Imagery, rehearsal therapy, for example, has people consciously reshape their recurring nightmares while awake, imagining new, less threatening endings. When practiced regularly, this technique has been shown in clinical trials to reduce nightmare frequency by 50 to 70% and decrease daytime anxiety. This works because your brain doesn't distinguish clearly between imagined rehearsal and actual dreaming. By changing the dream script consciously, you can influence the unconscious dream generation process. You're not a passive victim of your dreams. You can, with practice, become an active participant in shaping them. Lucid dreaming. Becoming aware that you're dreaming while still asleep has emerged as a potential tool for managing anxiety dreams. When you realize you're dreaming, you can sometimes change the dream narrative. Face threatening dream figures with the knowledge they can't truly harm you, or simply observe the dream without being swept up in its emotions. Research shows that lucid dreaming training reduces anxiety, dream distress, even when it doesn't eliminate the dreams entirely. The key difference is perspective. Instead of being trapped in the dream, you're watching it, understanding it's a creation of your mind. This metacognitive awareness, knowing that you're knowing, can extend into waking life, helping you recognize anxious thoughts as mental events rather than facts. Sleep timing affects anxiety, dream intensity. Dreams during the first half of the night, during earlier REM periods, tend to be shorter and less emotionally intense. Dreams in the second half, particularly in the hours before natural waking, are longer, more vivid, and more emotionally charged. For anxious individuals, this means the worst dreams often cluster in early morning hours. A 2023 study found that people with anxiety who went to bed very late, after 1 or 2 in the morning, actually reported fewer intense anxiety dreams than those who went to bed earlier, simply because they slept through fewer of those late-night REM periods. Your sleep schedule itself influences which dreams you experience and remember. Physical exercise during the day has measurable effects on dream content and anxiety that night. People who engaged in at least 30 minutes of moderate aerobic exercise showed reduced anxiety dream frequency in recent studies. Exercise appears to work through multiple pathways. It reduces overall cortisol, improves sleep quality, increases deep sleep time, and may help regulate REM rebound. But timing matters. Exercising too close to bedtime can increase arousal and actually worsen sleep. The sweet spot appears to be afternoon or early evening exercise. Your body's movement during waking hours influences your mind's movement through dream landscapes at night, creating calmer emotional weather in your sleeping consciousness. Mindfulness meditation practiced before bed can change dream emotional tone, even if it doesn't eliminate anxiety dreams entirely. Research with anxiety patients who practiced 10 minutes of mindfulness meditation before sleep found they reported dreams that, while sometimes still containing anxious content, felt less overwhelming and more observable. The meditation didn't erase their worries, but changed their relationship to them. This suggests that the skills you cultivate while awake, presence, non-judgment, acceptance, can carry into sleep states, affecting not the dream content itself, but your dreaming self's ability to navigate that content without being consumed by it. The stories you consume before bed, news, social media, television, books, influence dream content more than you might realize. Your brain is particularly impressionable in the hour before sleep, and anxious individuals show even greater incorporation of pre-sleep content into dreams. A 2023 experiment found that participants who watched stressful news before bed had more anxious dreams than those who watched neutral or calming content. Your pre-sleep mental environment becomes the raw material for dream construction. Choosing what you put into your mind before sleep is like choosing what ingredients you give a chef. They'll make something from whatever you provide. Temperature in your sleeping environment affects dream emotional content. Rooms that are too warm have been associated with more nightmares and anxious dreams, while cooler environments, around 65 to 68 degrees Fahrenheit, correlate with better dream quality. Your body needs to cool down to sleep deeply, and when that cooling is impaired, sleep becomes more fragmented and dreams more intense. Research found that even a few degrees difference in bedroom temperature could affect dream reports. Something as simple as adjusting your thermostat might change the emotional landscape of your nighttime mind. Offering one small, practical way to influence your dream experience. We're halfway through our journey now, and something important is emerging. Anxiety dreams aren't enemies. They're symptoms of a mind trying desperately to process overwhelming emotional information. The dreams themselves aren't the problem. They're the smoke alarm, the warning system, the desperate attempt at healing that's being interrupted by the very anxiety it's trying to process. Understanding this changes everything. Your dreams aren't attacking you. They're your mind's way of trying to help you. Even when the help feels like harm, even when the medicine tastes bitter, even when the healing hurts, breathe slowly now, and let each breath guide you to realize time is yours, a separate stream that only you are living, while the vast universe continues to spin, expand, change. This second you're breathing, listening, is unique. Cherish the present moment, knowing that right now, your time is unique in the universe. Feel how you exist in this present, this now, this breath. Past worries fade behind you. Future fears haven't yet arrived. There is only this, only now, only breath. Let yourself rest in the simplicity of this single moment. Now we continue the journey. The therapeutic potential of working with dreams has been recognized since ancient times. But modern neuroscience is now revealing exactly why dream work can reduce anxiety. When you talk about your dreams, write them down or explore their meanings. You're activating the prefrontal cortex, the rational, perspective-taking part of your brain that's offline during the dream itself. This allows you to revisit the emotional content of the dream while your executive functions are present, which can help reprocess the emotions more adaptively. Recent reviews of dream-focused therapies found meaningful anxiety reduction across multiple studies. The act of bringing conscious awareness to unconscious dream content creates a bridge, allowing your rational mind to help your emotional mind find resolution it couldn't reach alone during sleep. Dreams contain symbols and metaphors that, when understood, can reveal insights about your anxiety that you might not consciously recognize. A recurring dream about being trapped might reflect feeling trapped in a job or relationship. A dream about failing a test might reflect fear of being unprepared for life's challenges. While dream symbolism isn't always simple or universal, paying attention to patterns can reveal themes. Research from 2023 found that people who regularly reflected on their dream meanings reported better understanding of their own anxiety triggers and better ability to address them in waking life. Your dreams speak in a language that bypasses rational defenses, communicating truths your waking mind might avoid or deny. Sleep hygiene, the practices and environmental conditions that promote good sleep, has profound effects on dream quality and anxiety. Consistent sleep schedules, dark, quiet rooms, comfortable temperatures, and pre-sleep routines all contribute to better sleep architecture, which means better, less fragmented REM sleep, which means more effective dream processing. Research confirms that consistent sleep hygiene improvements, maintained for several weeks, can meaningfully reduce anxiety, dream frequency, and intensity. Your brain needs stable conditions to do its nighttime emotional work properly. When you create those conditions, your dreams naturally become less chaotic and more restorative. Small changes in environment create large changes in experience. The content of anxiety dreams changes across the lifespan. Children's anxiety dreams often feature monsters or separation from parents. Adolescents dream more about social rejection and performance failure. Adults dream about work stress, financial worries, and relationship concerns. Older adults dream about health, loss, and mortality. These shifts reflect changing sources of real-world anxiety at different life stages. Research tracking dream content across age groups found these patterns remarkably consistent across cultures. Your anxiety dreams are always speaking the language of your current life stage, addressing the specific vulnerabilities and concerns that are most relevant to your age and circumstances. Recurring anxiety dreams often persist until the underlying anxiety is addressed in waking life. You can't simply will them away or try to forget them. They return, night after night, because some emotional material remains unprocessed. But interestingly, when the waking issue resolves, you change the stressful job, end the toxic relationship, address the health concern, the recurring dream often stops completely, sometimes within days. A 2023 study documented this phenomenon, finding that 70% of people with recurring anxiety dreams reported they stopped once the real-life stressor was resolved. Your dreams are persistently trying to get your attention about something that needs addressing. Sleep medications, while sometimes necessary for severe insomnia, can affect dream quality and anxiety processing in complex ways. Some medications suppress REM sleep, which might reduce nightmares short-term, but also impairs the emotional processing that REM is supposed to accomplish. Others can cause vivid, bizarre dreams as side effects. The relationship between sleep medication and anxiety dreams is complicated and individual. If you're taking sleep medication and experiencing disturbing dreams, that's worth discussing with your healthcare provider. Sometimes adjusting timing or dosage can help. The goal is sleep that's both restful and allows natural dream processing to occur. Cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia, CBTI, has been shown to improve not just sleep quantity, but dream quality as well. This evidence-based therapy addresses the thoughts and behaviors that perpetuate insomnia and anxiety. When people complete CBTI, research shows they report fewer anxiety dreams and more neutral or positive dreams within 6 to 8 weeks. The therapy doesn't target dreams directly, but by improving sleep architecture and reducing bedtime worry, it creates conditions for healthier dreaming. Addressing how you think about sleep changes how you experience sleep, including the dreams that occur within it. Dream journaling, writing down your dreams immediately upon waking, can paradoxically both increase dream recall and reduce dream-related anxiety. While you remember more dreams, which seems like it might increase anxiety, you also gain perspective on them by externalizing them into words. The act of writing creates psychological distance. What felt overwhelming in the night becomes, on paper, something you can examine and question. Research on dream journaling suggests that regular practice reduces distress related to anxiety dreams, even when it doesn't reduce the dreams themselves. Writing transforms the dream from an experience you're lost inside to an object you can observe. The relationship between caffeine and anxiety dreams is more notable than many people realize. Caffeine has a half-life of about 5 to 6 hours, meaning that coffee consumed at 3 in the afternoon still has 50% of its caffeine in your system at 9 that evening. This residual stimulation can fragment sleep and increase anxiety dream intensity. Research found that cutting off caffeine intake by early afternoon reduced reported anxiety dreams in sensitive individuals. Your afternoon coffee, innocent at the time, becomes a character in your midnight narratives. Alcohol, despite making you feel sleepy initially, severely disrupts the second half of the night's sleep, particularly REM. After the alcohol metabolizes, usually 3 to 4 hours after drinking, you experience REM rebound, where your brain tries to catch up on missed REM, creating intense, often anxious dreams. This explains why hangovers include not just physical symptoms, but also emotional fragility and disturbing dream memories. Many people with anxiety use alcohol to help them sleep, unknowingly worsening the very dream problems they're trying to escape. The short-term solution becomes a long-term problem. Pregnancy dramatically changes dream content and intensity due to hormonal shifts, physical discomfort, and anxiety about the life transition. Pregnant individuals often report vivid, bizarre, sometimes frightening dreams about the baby, childbirth, or their ability to parent. These dreams are normal and don't predict actual outcomes, but they can be distressing. Understanding that pregnancy-related anxiety dreams are nearly universal can provide comfort. Your dreaming mind is processing one of life's biggest transitions. The dreams, however strange or scary, are part of how you're preparing psychologically for profound change. PTSD nightmares are a specific type of anxiety dream that deserves mention. Unlike typical anxiety dreams that vary in content, PTSD nightmares often replay traumatic events or contain direct references to trauma. These nightmares are one of the core symptoms of PTSD and indicate that the trauma hasn't been fully processed or integrated. Specialized treatments like prolonged exposure therapy and EMDR can help reduce PTSD nightmares by helping the brain reprocess traumatic memories. If your nightmares consistently feature traumatic content, that's a signal that professional trauma treatment might be helpful. Dream content can be influenced by what's called dream incubation, intentionally focusing on a particular thought or question before sleep to influence dream content. Some people with anxiety have used this technique to encourage more positive or neutral dreams by spending time before sleep, visualizing calming scenarios, or repeating calming affirmations. While results are individual and not guaranteed, research from 2023 found that about 40% of people who practiced dream incubation reported some influence on their dream content. Your pre-sleep mental focus isn't irrelevant to what your sleeping mind creates. The phenomenon of false awakening, dreaming that you've woken up when you're actually still asleep, occurs more frequently in anxiety. You dream you're getting ready for the day, or checking your phone, or getting out of bed, only to actually wake and realize it was a dream. Sometimes this happens multiple times in a night, creating layers of false awakenings that are disorienting and exhausting. These dreams reflect hypervigilance about waking responsibilities bleeding into sleep itself. Even in dreams, you can't stop preparing and worrying about the day ahead. We now understand that anxiety changes dreams systematically, chemically, structurally, but we also understand that this relationship isn't one way. Dreams influence anxiety just as anxiety influences dreams. And crucially, this means dreams are potentially modifiable through therapy, through behavioral changes, through environmental adjustments, through increased awareness. Your dreams aren't fixed. They respond to what you do while awake, This is both a responsibility and an opportunity. You have more influence over your dream life than you might have thought possible. Sleep position might affect dream content in subtle ways. Sleeping on your back is associated with more nightmares and sleep paralysis, possibly because this position can slightly restrict breathing. Sleeping on your left side has been linked in small studies to more negative dreams, while right-side sleeping correlates with more positive content, though researchers aren't sure why. The effects are small and vary individually, but your physical position might contribute to your dream emotional tone in ways you haven't considered. Even the angle of your sleeping body matters. Seasonal changes affect dream content, with anxiety dreams reported more frequently during late fall and winter in regions with notable seasonal variation. This correlates with seasonal affective patterns and reduced daylight. Light exposure during the day influences circadian rhythms and mood-regulating neurotransmitters, which in turn influence dream emotional tone. Getting outdoor light exposure, especially in morning hours, can help regulate these systems. Your dreams aren't isolated from the larger rhythms of nature and season. The Earth's tilt toward and away from the sun subtly influences your nighttime consciousness. Dreams during afternoon naps differ from nighttime dreams. Nap dreams tend to be shorter, less emotionally intense, and more fragmented. For people with anxiety, daytime napping can sometimes provide dream experiences without the intense anxiety that nighttime dreams carry, possibly because naps contain less REM sleep. However, napping can also disrupt nighttime sleep architecture if done too late in the day. The timing and length of naps matter. A 20-minute afternoon nap operates differently than a 2-hour late afternoon sleep in terms of dream content and architecture. The sensory environment of your bedroom, temperature, lighting, even subtle sounds, influences dream emotional content more than you might expect. Your body and brain are exquisitely sensitive during sleep. Cool temperatures, around 65 to 68 degrees Fahrenheit, complete darkness or soft amber light, and quiet or consistent white noise create conditions where your nervous system can fully relax. When your senses aren't fighting environmental stressors, your dreams often reflect that ease, becoming less urgent and more peaceful. Your external environment becomes your internal landscape. Electronic screens before bed disrupt sleep through blue light exposure that suppresses melatonin, but also through the content consumed. News, social media, work emails that activates anxiety. The combination of physiological disruption from light and psychological activation from content creates particularly poor conditions for anxiety-free dreaming. Screen curfews, where you stop using devices an hour or two before bed, consistently improve sleep quality and dream content in research studies. What you look at in those final waking hours shadows your first sleeping hours. Anxiety dreams can contain problem-solving elements even when they're distressing. Your dreaming brain is trying to work through issues, test solutions, rehearse responses. Sometimes anxiety dreams, upon reflection, reveal insights about challenges you're facing. A dream about being unprepared might highlight real inadequate preparation. A dream about conflict might reveal unresolved tensions. While uncomfortable, these dreams are data, information about your psychological state and concerns that deserves attention rather than dismissal. Your nightmares might be trying to tell you something useful. Cultural beliefs about dreams influence how people experience and respond to anxiety dreams. In some cultures, dreams are considered prophetic or spiritually meaningful. In others, they're dismissed as meaningless brain static. Your cultural framework affects whether you view anxiety dreams as warnings to heed, problems to solve, or random events to ignore. None of these frameworks is objectively correct, but they each influence how distressing dreams feel and whether you seek help for them. Your cultural inheritance shapes your dream interpretation. The act of talking about dreams with others, sharing them, discussing them, finding common experiences, can reduce the isolation that anxiety dreams create. Knowing that others have similar dreams normalizes the experience. Dream discussion groups, whether formal or informal, provide validation that your disturbing dreams don't mean you're broken or alone. Research found that social sharing of dream content reduced associated distress. Your dreams feel less terrifying when you discover their human experiences, not personal failures. Anxiety dreams often decrease naturally during periods of stable, consistent routine. When your days are predictable, your nights become more predictable. The brain seems to create more anxious dreams during times of transition, uncertainty, or instability. This doesn't mean you need to avoid change. Life requires adaptation, but it explains why anxiety dreams cluster during major life transitions, like moving, job changes, relationship beginnings or endings, or health challenges. Your dreams track the stability or chaos of your waking circumstances, and so we arrive at a deeper understanding. Anxiety dreams are neither random nor meaningless. They're your brain's attempt to process overwhelming emotional information under less than ideal conditions. They respond to what you do while awake. They carry information about your psychological state. They can be influenced, modified, even transformed through conscious attention and behavioral changes. Your dreams aren't attacking you. They're working for you. Even when the work is hard, even when the message feels painful. You might be feeling tired now. That's perfectly fine. Breathe slowly. Feel the cycles. Your breath. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. A small cycle within the vast universe. Waking and sleeping. Tension and release. Anxiety and calm. All are cycles. Rhythms. Patterns that ebb and flow. You are also part of that eternal movement. You don't need to hold on to anything. Let everything unfold in its perfect order, like tides silently following the moon's pull, unhurried, unresisting, simply existing. Did you know? Most matter, from a grain of sand to a star, is mostly empty space. Atoms are mostly space between nucleus and electrons. Even your anxiety, it's mostly space between thoughts. So let go. Let all pressure, all worry dissolve, like dust particles floating, drifting in the immense universe. We'll continue with the final facts now. There is wisdom hidden in anxiety dreams that only reveals itself through gentle attention rather than fearful avoidance. Each recurring theme, each frightening symbol, each moment of helplessness points towards something in your waking life that needs compassion or change. Not judgment. Compassion. Your dreams aren't accusing you of weakness. They're highlighting where you feel vulnerable, where you need support, where old wounds remain unhealed. when you approach them with curiosity rather than shame, when you ask, "What is this dream trying to show me?" instead of "What's wrong with me?" the dreams often shift, soften, become less frequent or less intense. Sleep itself is an act of trust. Every night, you surrender consciousness, release control, allow yourself to enter a state of profound vulnerability. For anxious minds, this surrender is difficult. The need for control that drives daytime anxiety makes nighttime letting go frightening. Perhaps this is why anxiety invades dreams. Because sleep requires exactly what anxiety most resists: trust, release, acceptance of uncertainty. Your anxiety dreams might be where your need for control collides with the necessity of surrender. Learning to sleep peacefully is learning to trust that you're safe even when vulnerable. Your dreaming self is not your waking self. The you in dreams acts differently, reacts differently, knows different things than your waking consciousness. This isn't multiple personality. It's the natural division between conscious and unconscious processing. Your dream self has access to emotional truths your waking self might defend against. It speaks a language of symbol and feeling rather than logic and language. Learning to listen to your dream self, to treat it as a legitimate part of your whole being, creates internal dialogue rather than internal conflict. Two parts of you. Learning to communicate. Some anxiety dreams are rehearsals for real challenges. And in this way, they serve an adaptive function even when unpleasant. Your brain is practicing responses, testing scenarios, preparing you for difficulties. Evolutionary psychologists suggest this might be why anxiety dreams evolved: to help early humans prepare for genuine threats. Your dream of failing might help you actually prepare better. Your dream of conflict might help you navigate real disagreement. Not all preparation is pleasant. Not all strengthening is comfortable. Sometimes the dream that disturbs you also prepares you. The moment of waking from an anxiety dream is crucial. In that threshold between sleep and full consciousness, you have choice about how to respond. You can catastrophize, letting the dream's emotions flood your day. Or you can observe, noting the dream, acknowledging the feeling, then consciously choosing not to let it define your morning. This isn't suppression, it's perspective. The dream was real in its moment, but it isn't reality. This morning is a new moment. You can carry the dream or set it aside. Healing from anxiety dreams doesn't mean never having another anxious dream. It means changing your relationship to them, recognizing them as temporary mental events rather than prophecies, as symptoms rather than truths. Healing means the dreams might still come, but they disturb you less, last shorter, fade faster. You wake with perspective rather than panic. The goal isn't perfect dreams. The goal is resilience. The capacity to experience difficult dreams without being undone by them. Strength isn't the absence of challenge. It's the ability to recover. Sometimes anxiety dreams decrease, not because you've solved all your problems, but because you've accepted them. Acceptance doesn't mean resignation or giving up. It means acknowledging reality as it is, including its difficulties, without constantly fighting against it. When waking resistance decreases, dream resistance often decreases too. Your sleeping mind mirrors your waking stance. Fight creates more fight. Acceptance creates more peace. Even in dreams, your fundamental orientation toward life. Resistance or acceptance shapes the landscape you inhabit. Your breath is available in dreams too. Sometimes, in the middle of an anxiety dream, you can become aware of breathing and use it to calm the dream or even wake yourself. This requires practice, training your mind to notice breath even during sleep. But some people develop this capacity, creating an anchor point that follows them into dreams. Breath becomes a bridge between states of consciousness, a tool that works whether you're awake or asleep, anxious or calm. Anxiety dreams often contain exaggerations, fears blown out of proportion, consequences far beyond what's actually likely. This exaggeration is important to recognize. The dream isn't showing you what will happen. It's showing you what you fear might happen. Amplified. Learning to identify exaggeration in dreams helps you identify it in waking thoughts too. Your mind has a tendency toward catastrophic thinking. Dreams make this tendency visible, giving you opportunity to recognize and challenge it. There are people whose dreams are peaceful even while experiencing notable life stress. This isn't because they're in denial or suppressing emotions. Often, it's because they've developed strong emotional processing skills while awake. Talking about feelings, journaling, therapy, meditation. They process stressful material consciously during waking hours, leaving less unprocessed material for dreams to handle. Their sleep becomes rest rather than emotional laboratory. Processing while awake protects peace while asleep. Children who experience anxiety dreams need particular gentleness. Their young brains are still learning to distinguish imagination from reality, dreams from waking. When they wake, frightened, they need reassurance that dreams can't hurt them, that the monster isn't real, that you're nearby and safe. Adult anxiety dreams stem from similar needs: reassurance, safety, comfort. Perhaps we all still need someone, even if it's ourselves, to say, "It was just a dream. You're safe now." The question, "What do my dreams mean?" might be less useful than "What am I feeling in my dreams?" Meaning making can become another form of anxiety, another mental task to complete perfectly. But feeling requires only noticing. This dream was frightening. This one was sad. This one left me unsettled. Emotions are data. You don't need to decode them perfectly. You need only acknowledge them. The way you'd acknowledge rain or wind. Anxiety dreams become less powerful when you remember. You've survived every one so far. Each nightmare you've woken from is proof of your resilience. Each disturbing dream you've moved past demonstrates your capacity to recover. Your history with anxiety dreams is a history of survival, of waking, of continuing. That pattern won't break tonight. You will wake. You will continue. You always have. Sometimes the kindest thing you can do for your dreaming mind is improve your waking life. Address the stressor when possible. Seek therapy if needed. Set boundaries that protect your peace. Rest when tired. Ask for help when overwhelmed. Your dreams can't heal what your waking life continues to wound. But when waking life begins to heal, dreams often follow naturally, gradually, gently into calmer waters. So could anxiety change your dreams? Yes. Profoundly. In structure, chemistry, content, and emotional tone. But here's the deeper answer. Understanding how anxiety changes your dreams gives you power to change them back. Not completely, not perfectly, but meaningfully. Your dreams respond to your actions. They're not fixed. Neither is your anxiety. Both can shift, soften, transform. Understanding is the first step. Action follows. Healing becomes possible. Tonight, if anxious dreams come, you might remember some of what we've explored. You might recognize the dream for what it is. Your brain attempting to process emotional material, not prophecy or punishment. You might wake with less fear, more understanding. You might even find, in time, that the dreams come less frequently, disturb you less deeply, not because you've banished them through force of will, but because you've created conditions, internal and external, where your sleeping mind can rest more peacefully, process more effectively, heal more completely. Anxiety dreams are temporary. Even the worst nightmare lasts only minutes. Even the most disturbing content eventually fades. Morning always comes. You always wake. This basic truth bears remembering when dreams feel eternal in their darkness. They're not. They're brief, passing mental events in an endless stream of consciousness. Like clouds across the sky, they move through and move on. Your awareness remains. The witness persists. The dreams change. You endure. There is something almost sacred about the vulnerability of sleep and dreams. You cannot sleep without letting go. You cannot dream without opening yourself to the unconscious. This vulnerability is not weakness. It's a necessary surrender that allows healing, restoration, and integration to occur. Honoring your dreams, even the anxious ones, means honoring the part of yourself that's trying, always trying, to process, to understand, to make meaning, to heal. Anxiety dreams decrease most reliably when waking anxiety decreases. This might seem obvious, but it's worth stating clearly. Addressing the root cause is more effective than addressing symptoms. Therapy, medication if appropriate, lifestyle changes, stress reduction. These waking interventions naturally improve dream quality. Your sleep and dreams aren't separate from your life. They're part of it. Healing happens holistically, affecting waking and sleeping consciousness together. You might not remember this entire journey when you wake. That's okay. Your unconscious mind has been listening, even as your conscious mind drifts. Something has shifted simply through attention, through understanding, through the calm repetition of facts and reassurances. Even if you forget the specific details, the essence remains. Anxiety dreams are understandable, changeable, meaningful, and ultimately survivable. You are not alone in this experience. Every person listening has experienced anxiety dreams in some form. This is not unique to you. It's not a personal failing or a sign that you're broken. It's a common human experience, a response to stress that makes evolutionary sense even when it feels awful. Millions of people tonight will have similar dreams, will wake with similar feelings. You are one of many, traveling through the same human experience. Your dreams are trying to help you, even when they frighten you. This might be hard to believe in the moment of nightmare panic, but it's true. Your brain is attempting to process, prepare, protect. The mechanism is flawed under anxiety's influence, creating distress rather than resolution. But the intent remains. Your sleeping mind is working for your benefit. trying its best to integrate difficult emotions and experiences. There is hope for better dreams. Not perfect dreams. Perfection isn't the standard, but calmer dreams, more neutral dreams, occasionally even pleasant dreams. The path toward them involves addressing waking anxiety, improving sleep conditions, developing emotional processing skills, and changing your relationship with the dreams themselves. Small changes accumulate. Patience and persistence create transformation. Your dream life can improve. It often does. You have survived 100% of your worst nights. Every anxiety dream you've experienced. You've moved beyond. Your track record is perfect. This pattern will continue. Tonight's dreams, whatever they bring, will also pass. Morning will arrive. You will wake. Life will continue. You have done this before. You will do it again. You are more resilient than you know. And finally, remember this: dreams are not reality. Anxiety is not truth. Fear is not fact. What you experience in the night is your mind attempting to process the day, using the imperfect tools of symbolic imagery and emotional amplification. The dreams will come and go, but you, the awareness beneath the dreams, the consciousness that witnesses both sleeping and waking, you remain constant, present, whole. So how does anxiety change your dreams? Completely, profoundly, measurably. But here's the real answer, the one that matters most. Understanding how anxiety changes your dreams is the first step toward changing them back. Knowledge is power. Awareness is healing. Compassion for yourself, for your struggling mind, for your frightening dreams, is the beginning of peace. Rest now. You've learned enough. Sleep well. And so, our quiet journey through the landscape of anxious dreams comes to a gentle close. We've traveled from the chemistry that colors your night visions to the ancient brain structures that guard your sleep, discovering along the way that anxiety dreams are neither random nor meaningless. They're your mind's imperfect attempt to process overwhelming emotion. From the amygdala's overactive alarm to the peaceful possibility of transformed dream life, we've glimpsed how anxiety is both problem and attempted solution, both wound and healing attempt. Dreams remind us that consciousness is not simple or singular. Much of our mental life happens beyond awareness, in darkness. Using the strange language of symbol and emotion, they reveal patience, your brain's tireless effort to integrate experience. Without dreams, we might never see how hard our unconscious minds work on our behalf. In these final minutes, take the deepest breath you can, as deep as possible. Think about unity of every atom, every event, every moment in the universe. You are not separate. You are a link in the endless chain. Think about consciousness itself. Yours, mine, everyone listening. All awareness everywhere, perhaps all connected in ways we don't yet understand. You are not alone in the universe of minds. Let your entire being dissolve into the ocean of consciousness, into dreamless rest, into the space before thought, into the vast darkness that holds all dreams, all fears, all hope. Prepare for deep sleep. No boundaries left, only peace. When this thoughtful exploration of the mind has helped you understand your dreams differently or brought you closer to sleep tonight, A gentle like or subscribe helps other sleepless minds discover this peaceful space too. One quiet tap helps another searching soul find their way here. One sleepy soul at a time. Thank you for being here. But there's no need to do anything now. Nothing at all. You've traveled far tonight. Deeper than most journeys take you. You can allow these thoughts of anxiety and dreams to fade now, like morning mist dissolving in sunlight, leaving only the gentle calm behind. Let your breathing deepen. Let your body feel heavier, as if the earth is pulling you down with tender gravity, like roots growing slowly into soil, steady and inevitable. If sleep comes, let it carry you like a leaf on a stream, smoothly, naturally, into a realm where time and weight and worry no longer matter, where consciousness dims like sunset, where the boundary between self and rest dissolves completely. If your eyes are still open, the next video is waiting for you, ready to continue the journey. But if they're closed, stay there. Stay in the darkness that feels safe and warm. Tomorrow, your dreams will still be there. The work of understanding will still be there. But tonight belongs to stillness. Rest well, sleepy scientist. And remember, your dreams are trying to help you, even when they frighten you, even in their imperfection. They're reaching toward healing. Dream deeper with gentle understanding, where psychology meets sleep. Fall asleep to whispered wisdom. Good night.